I apologize, and I apologize in advance for any delay in videos either way, and it's just one of those things. It's gonna happen. For anyone and all my subscribers, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'll try and produce the best quality videos I possibly can, but due to school work and, you know, just for in the last case, kind of my general laziness of just enjoying my vacation, that they'll kind of be sporadically put up. So, that said, I'd like to get on to my review of Gonzo, the life and works of Dr. Hunter S. Thompson, a 2008 Alex Gibney documentary about, well, it's right there, the subject's right there in the title, great American author, Hunter S. Thompson, who is, if nothing else, a political journalist, and also the founder of the literary style Gonzo, which is kind of semi-fictional account, or journalistic accounts. I won't even bother going over the basics, because you know what? If you know it, then you know it, and if you don't know it, go out and watch this movie, because I personally think is a very good introduction to Hunter S. Thompson. I want to start off with the presentation here, and I have nothing bad to say. This is an extremely slickly produced documentary, and I fully understand why many people enjoy Alex Gibney documentaries now, because he produces a really nice product. A lot of people have had the complaints for this, saying they use some stand-ins, perhaps, or maybe they don't like the picture that Johnny Depp, or like film excerpts from movies that have been based off his work, such as Where the Buffalo Roam and The Titular Funeral in Las Vegas. But I think they work perfectly, because this isn't meant to really delve massively deeply. I think this is meant to be just an entertaining, informative documentary on Hunter S. Thompson for maybe not necessarily the fanatics like me, but more for people that don't know as much about him. And that's not to say it won't provide you with information, those who already are in the know. It does provide you with a lot of anecdotes and different pieces, as well as archival footage interviews you've never seen before, guaranteed. And so it's worth it for that price alone. But I just think a lot of it is aimed more on the surface level, which, like I said, is no problem, and I find very entertaining. Largely, again, because this presentation is so well done. It's not a matter of necessarily the content in of itself, but the CG, very tasteful, may I add, combined with all this very well cleaned up footage and massive people in this documentary. I mean, Jimmy Carter does interviews for him. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's awesome, but it's ridiculous. And on top of that, there's a very great use of recreations, particularly the end bit of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, which is done with audio recordings from that part of the book. And if you're familiar with the book, it's the actual audio recordings apparently were dug up just for this movie. So again, new stuff you'll find here. As well as live action recreations with imprinted sketches and scratches and all that to make it look authentic. And I really appreciate that. I thought it kept the pacing of the movie really well, along with the iconic soundtrack with the likes of Bob Dylan and Jefferson Airplane. This is a real thrill. The first 45 minutes, 50 minutes, it's highly entertaining, hilarious in a very Hunter Thompson way, and do provide some, maybe not necessarily huge insight, but extremely informative in that way. However, the latter portion of the movie, the latter half of the movie, while still entertaining and does have some really great informational bits, doesn't quite flow as smoothly. In fact, around the last 20 minutes, I was downright bored. And I am a fanatic of Hunter S. Thompson. I eat this stuff up. Now, that's not to say I didn't go back and enjoy the wonderful commentary and deleted scenes, but more on that later. Anyway, like I said, the presentation is absolutely pristine. I have no complaints there. The archival footage is best as it's gonna get, so I mean, it's not like you're really looking for Blu-ray 1080p quality in that. And the music itself helps really give a sense of time and period to it. As well, the movie is, while progressing in a chronological fashion through his life, takes clippets that are not necessarily in a chronological fashion. So, it'll have inserts, it'll have a talking head interview from the present, I guess, and we'll be talking about, 1972, and then it'll have a clip back to 1972 while that's being discussed, and from there it keeps going to 1974, 1975. And in that way, like I said, it keeps the presentation moving. I do want to address one thing, though. I keep reading and listening to in reviews of this documentary how people are really down on the Johnny Depp narration. Why? I mean, outside of Morgan Freeman, like I said, you know, this is the guy I'd want to be narrating my life. He's got a really great sound to his voice, and frankly, I really enjoyed the movie Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I thought he did a great portrayal of that, and him being a very personal friend of Hunter S. Thompson, providing a significant, if not sole, financial aid for his funeral. I thought that was a really nice choice, an apt choice, if nothing else. Oh well, what can you do, though, I suppose. I don't want to go into the movie in too much detail, outside of the fact that it is a great introduction for those already in the know. You'll still enjoy this, but more on a surface level. It won't give you any massive insight into the dichotomy of the man. This is focused definitely more on the drug-induced hilarity of Hunter S. Thompson, with the journalistic bits thrown in. The depressing side of mistreatment of his wives and Juan, not necessarily dug too much deep into, but I don't think you'll really regret it, because the way this movie is told is exactly the way that Gibney wanted it to be told. And going with the Gonzo way, I think he actually handles it rather amusingly. To be honest, this documentary is almost Gonzo in of itself, or at the very least participatory, in the fact that he chooses his own story from the fictional or from the non-fiction basis. Anyway, I just wanted to get onto the DVD before I close out this review, saying that, you know, if you liked this movie, even just liked it, and are a real Hunter S. Thompson fan, definitely get this DVD, because the commentary, maybe not as good. It provides some interesting tidbits about Gibney's thoughts about Thompson, and bits about the production, those large silent periods. But along with that, you'll get deleted scenes, which are a rather large interview footage, hilarious footage with Ralph Steadman, ton of other random things that you'd never thought you'd want, but actually do enjoy, as is always the case in these types of things. As well as the extended interviews, which, I kid you not, probably total around more than an hour of extra footage. I would not even be surprised if it was more than that, because seriously, they don't, I don't want to say drone, but that's not the right word. They just keep coming. There's a full page of them, and you watch them, and you're like, oh man, that was cool. And then you say, oh, there's no more. Okay, there must be one or two on the next page. Oh, there's another full page. Well, okay, oh, what the heck? There's another more, and there's 3 pages of these things. And it was really surprising and a really nice bit of it that they included all this added stuff, because most of it's just anecdotes, but there's some really funny anecdotes. My particular favorite is the segment entitled Sex Dolls. I will say no more than that. Watch it for yourself. Freaking hilarious, in my opinion. As well as that, there's excerpts from the Gonzo tapes, a bunch of promotional things for the Gonzo book and, well, the tapes themselves. But as well as that, they got drawings by Ralph Steadman. They have at least 50 of them in there. And there's a list of Hunter S. Thompson's gun collections, a massive photo section from ranging everything from Hell's Angels to everything in between, everything around it. And while I don't normally enjoy photo galleries, it was really nice to have a visual representation to a lot of the books that he writes, outside of Ralph Steadman's fantastic art. Also on this disc is a musical tribute, and I can't remember who did it at the moment, but it is quite a nice piece, and the presentation of the disc itself, the menus, are animated but not in a cumbersome way. The animations in the background are very nice, but doesn't affect the menus, and there's only about 4 options, and special features are very easy to navigate. It's not some crazy off-the-wall design, and I appreciate it for that. Very economical, very workable. In conclusion, if you like Hunter S. Thompson or are interested in the man or 60s counterculture, then I would definitely check out this documentary. You're probably not going to be let down with the person who's crazy and off the wall as Hunter S. Thompson. You certainly have trouble making a bad movie about him. And if you like the documentary, maybe didn't love it, but liked it, I'd still suggest at very least renting this disc, because it has more than enough entertainment value, even outside of the movie itself, with the commentary, deleted scenes, extended scenes, and all the other crap they throw on there, which is good. Not crap, but just... Anyway, buy the DVD. I would suggest it. It's not the best documentary out there, but it is certainly one of the better ones I've seen in a long while.